Now, I don't expect much interest in this video because guitar players never have an opinion on anything. Hey everyone, I'm Jack Fossett, and today we are going to talk about Ovation guitars. I have kind of a unique story about Ovation guitars because when I started playing guitar, which was back in winter of 2004, I used to go visit my friend who went to St. Anselm College just outside of Manchester, New Hampshire. And being new into guitar, of course, I was like just hyper aware of anything guitar. I knew nothing about it, but I was so into it and I absolutely loved anything I could kind of find about guitar. Well, there used to be a music chain around New England called Daddy's Junkie Music. Feel free to chime in if any of you remember Daddy's Junkie Music. And in the acoustic room of Daddy's Junkie Music, they had Ovation guitars. I had never seen anything like it before in my life. I actually had, I just didn't know what I was looking at on concert videos and things. You know, you're not aware of it until you're aware of it. It was kind of that situation. Anyway, when I would go visit my friend in college, I would go to their coffee shop where they would have college bands play. And some of his friends were in a really cool band, which I would actually later join, called Tables Up. One of the lead guys in Tables Up played an Ovation. Now, in this coffee house performance arena, it was more than an open mic, but less than a big kind of booking thing. It was for the, the college groups and things. There was another really talented singer-songwriter who I unfortunately don't remember the name of, who also played Ovations. And they were a little bit more expensive, they were pretty high-end, and so at this early, very impressionable point in my guitar playing career, I thought, like, if you were a guitar player, you played an Ovation. Only come to find out that many guitar players just absolutely hate them. Their popularity has significantly declined, in those years since I started playing. I mostly hear them as the butt of jokes nowadays, honestly. I don't see many Ovation players out there anymore. I don't see the guitars circulating that much. I see a lot of people trying to get rid of them. In all of that, I never actually owned one. I really have always kind of wanted to own one because of that early impression that I had of Ovation guitars. So I recently traded for this one. Now, this is actually exactly the style that I love for Ovation guitars. It's this, rich kind of, it's like a sunburst with these autumnal leaf designs and the sound holes up here. Of course, they make ones that have the more traditional acoustic guitar sound hole. This is a thinner, shallower body. They make some that have a deeper body. And I will say that a couple of things can be kind of true at the same time. Is it a great acoustic guitar? Yes. Is it a traditional acoustic guitar? No. Now, you need to understand the history of the company a little bit, which actually goes back further than I expected, which is all the way back to the 1960s, from the Common Corporation, which was an aerospace innovation corporation. And their president, their leader, Charles Common, was actually an acoustic guitar enthusiast and wanted to create a guitar and kind of take the expertise from his aerospace company and put them into guitar building, to the point where they discovered through their research, and again, you can agree or disagree with this, but that the optimal shape for the back of an acoustic guitar for the projection of sound is parabolic. And also issues with the top of wanting to make it as smooth, reflective, and resonant as possible, making it thinner but also strong so that it won't break. Now, they actually came up with their own material for this, an engineered material called Lyricord, which is something that they use in their guitar building, which is supposed to be more resonant. Now, I've done some kind of cursory research on the company. I was really interested to learn more about the history. I'm just relaying an overview to you. So if you're someone who's into Ovations and you want to share some more nuanced details, please feel free to leave that in the comments. I'm just kind of trying to give some of you a direction if you haven't really thought of these guitars much before. The thing about it being an acoustic guitar but not a traditional acoustic guitar is important because tonally, I think they sound nice. I think they have an even sound. They do tend to project pretty well. They have a softness to them that actually, in a weird way, almost reminds me of archtop guitars. And they are very, very functional with their electronics. That's a big thing. And also kind of going back to their rise to fame, when many notable guitar players played them, including Glenn Campbell, and the one who I saw play them were both Brian May and Freddie Mercury playing them in Queen concerts. A lot of big names playing Ovation guitars and getting great sounds out of them on big stages, so that already tells you a lot. Now, they were originally made in Connecticut. Later on, they have moved overseas. This one is made in China, a less expensive one. I think ultimately what it boils down to is, are you okay with playing something that doesn't look like a traditional acoustic guitar? Now, for me, Ovation hits the right notes as far as that goes, because while it doesn't look like a traditional acoustic guitar, at least this one, again, there are ones that have the more traditional look, I think this is a very elegant look. I think that the electronics definitely help. They sound great. That's more of a moot point now than it used to be. And one of the reasons is because the availability of, good performance acoustic guitars was a big deal as they were kind of being developed. This is also part of the reason why Takaminis became so popular when they became popular. But by modern standards, with the, how far that technology has come, the electronics don't sway people as much as they used to. So if we're being totally honest, it really does go back to that look and feel kind of thing. And I think many acoustic guitar players reject these simply because of the look and feel, and they want the look and feel of a traditional acoustic guitar. And I get it. I love a traditional acoustic guitar. That, to me, is one of the greatest inventions in human history. It's so natural. It's so, everything about it just makes you want to play it, makes you want to listen to it. I get it. But I am not letting myself reject this because that's so cool. I think we can spread the love around a little bit here. Now, one legitimate criticism I have heard, and that doesn't apply to this one as much, but is that the round backs can be very uncomfortable and difficult to hold when you are sitting down in particular. And I can attest to that because even this one with a shallower back, when I was sitting and playing it, it does it can slide off your leg a little bit. Whereas, of course, a regular acoustic guitar with the squared off sides, that's much easier. It sits more sturdy. This one can kind of wiggle around and slip a little bit. So with the big body ones, I can totally understand how that would be a detriment. All that being said, what I really want to relay in this video is that I don't think that Ovation deserves the criticism that it's gotten over the past several years. I mentioned to somebody a story. It's just like, geez, I've always wanted to try an Ovation. and I got the kind of chuckle of just like, yeah, okay, why would you want to do that? And that's been my experience of what the big response is. So please let us know in the comments, are you someone who has an Ovation? Do you play them exclusively? Is it something that you've had a history with and kind of a nostalgia with in a similar way to the way that I have? And I am in the middle on it. I'm not going to reject it based on its look, based on its functionality. I think that its innovation is really cool. I don't know that it necessarily produces a superior sound to a regular acoustic guitar the way that they claim to. I do think it probably produces a more consistent tone. I think with the variables of things like wood being kind of taken out of it and using other materials, I think most Ovations are going to sound very, very similar. Whereas, you know, with acoustic guitars made of wood, every piece of wood is different. It vibrates a little differently, it breathes a little differently, so you're going to have more variance in tone even in the same models. I totally get the idea of having one that's really going to be a consistent, good, you know, even kind of projecting sound. And I like this one. I like that I've added it to the collection. So I am in the middle. This is one that I enjoy having. I'm not rejecting, but I also wouldn't pick it over a traditional acoustic guitar if push came to shove. So let us know in the comments, what do you think? I'm going to play a little bit more here. You're hearing it both mic'd up acoustically and using the pickups again because I think the electronics are a significant part of the company's history and why they became as popular as they did, particularly among big artists when they did. And for that, I'm plugging into the Fender SFX2 acoustic guitar amplifier. Let us know your Ovation story in the comments. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.